Ever wish you had someone to tell you the truth about what it takes to run a successful business and live a fulfilling life? Well, amiguita, you've come to the right place. So grab your favorite cafecito or cocktail, your courage, and let's get to work. I'm Janessa, a therapist, business strategist, mindset coach for entrepreneurs, and a feisty Latina from Miami. And I'm determined to teach you the exact tools you need to stop settling and start kicking some serious derriere. What do you say? Are you in? Then let's get started. Welcome to Latinas Empowering Latinas podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Latinas Empowering Latinas podcast. Today, I'm sharing a clip from an interview when I was a guest on the Yegi Project, where we discussed some of the biggest barriers we both face as first-gen immigrants, like being doubted because of our age and where we come from. It wasn't easy, and to be honest, things like this still pop up often, more often than we care to admit. But the great news is we also shared how we break through the barriers people place in our way and how you can overcome the ones placed in yours. As always, I'm sharing the raw, real, and tough love you need to hear. So grab your favorite cafecito and let's jump in.
A lot of people find a barrier and they use it as an excuse, or find a reason and they use it as an excuse to not take their next step. Have you faced any challenge or any barrier that you felt like held you back? And what did you do to overcome it in order to get to your next step?
Barriers are everywhere if you want to pay attention to them, right? If you wake up and you're having a bad day, right, then everything seems like a bad day, and suddenly there's traffic, and then you drop something, and then you break something. But if you look at the rain and you're like, oh, it's pretty, but it's going to clear up and it's watering my flowers, right? It's perspective. So yes, there were gazillion struggles, right? I was super young when I started. Can you imagine going to a therapist who was 23 years old? Are you a mom? Are you married? What do you know about life?
Yeah, honestly, I can relate on that too. I was a student counselor at a university when I was in my very early 20s, and people wouldn't take me seriously. I had to dress a certain way. I forced my hair. I couldn't wear it light because they didn't take me as seriously. So it was very sad, but these stereotypes and everything, even with your age, really, really also play a role. I'm glad you brought that up. And when whoever is super young and wants to achieve a lot or have specific roles, there are ways. Like Janessa said, there are barriers, but we're going to talk about what to do about those barriers. So sorry to cut you off there. So go ahead.
So I would say that access to resources is a really real big thing, right? As an advocate, I keep going, I switch back and forth between my therapists. There's sometimes that I'm fighting with insurance for myself and my kid. And I get so angry, and I don't even get angry about my situation. I'm like, no, but you're wrong. And how is somebody who doesn't know how to fight the system going to address this? Like, I get viscerally mad for everybody else. Discrimination, bias. I mean, again, I went from this bubble to I now live in a very specific area of the country that is very well-to-do and very well-informed and is not diverse. So when I moved to where I live now, every single doctor was very pregnant with my son. Every single doctor asked me if I was on assistance.
Wow.
Every single one. They assumed because I was Spanish, I didn't have an education, I didn't have a job, and I needed government assistance. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with needing that, but the fact that they were assuming that was my case.
It's heartbreaking.
It is really. And I think that also, I think there's moments in life that were struggles. So you're saying barriers. I think they were lessons that added even more gumption and more intensity to my mission to help other first-gen and Latinas. I actually was in my membership today, and we did group coaching and goal setting for the month. And one of the first things I said today, Yegi, was, all right, tell me what you haven't been able to accomplish that you want to, why you haven't. And then I want you to come up with solutions for how you're going to solve it, because anything else is an excuse. I don't want excuses. I want solutions. No excuses, only solutions. And that's how I live everything.
Wow. So powerful. Now, you mentioned your membership. It is called Latinas Empowering Latinas. Can you talk a little bit about that for our audience or our listeners who are interested in joining? How can they do that? And what is it all about? How much commitment does it take?
So this was me trying to really align everything that is within me and me constantly wanting to pour back. And so figuring out kind of like different tiers of services you can offer, right? My coaching is very high touch, high contact, very high price. But for me, giving back was worth so much more. So my membership is a way to help a lot of people for a lot less that they invest in while still honoring my time and what I offer, right? So this community is a platform. I hate to say Facebook. It's similar to Facebook in the way that it sort of looks, insofar that you can access it 24/7. We have one live weekly event. You don't have to go if you don't want to, but there's constant motivation, accountability, goal setting, feedback, group coaching, like there's so much. The VIP members have an opportunity to actually share and collaborate with one another and promote their services. The beautiful way that I'm trying to really show up is there's more than enough room for all of us to be successful. Let's focus on collaborating and supporting one another instead of competing. Like, I don't believe in competing. There's no way. Yep. I can be in a room in a house full of therapists or a convention full of therapists that I will be in Texas, and I will feel super confident because I know that I'm myself and you're yourself, and what you bring to the table is different than what I bring to the table. And we serve people in different ways.
And there's enough people that need help in whatever, or need the services that we offer that can go around. So we all need to just focus on ourselves and our clientele and our goals and leave the competition to themselves.
Yes, essentially. Let them fight with each other. And I also want to add to what you're saying. You said, there's more than enough space for all of us. In addition to that, everybody has a different take on something. Like, how many places in the world sell pizza or cheeseburgers? Is there nobody selling it because somebody else is doing it already? There's different sauces and different styles and different bread and gluten-free and a different atmosphere. There's so many ways to stand apart. So if you ever have an idea or a dream,
like you said, we're all different. Even location and who you are, different people connect with different people.
Absolutely. Personality is huge.
All right. So as far as competition, that's your number one advice. Don't worry about it. Focus on yourself. There's enough to go around.
Let them fight with each other. Let them say whatever they're going to say. One of the things that I've seen a lot happen is people being very critical, and you'll never find another supportive, successful entrepreneur criticizing another one. If they're criticizing you, they're envious.
You're right. You're right. I have to agree on that one. So that's some food for thought for our audience out there. If you find yourself in a pickle, think about all these things that we talked about. Is it really you getting in your own way, or is it somebody else that you're criticizing? But thank you so much again for sharing that. We'll link everything below about the community, so if people want to join, they can. Now, my next question to you is kind of a fun question, just on top of your head. If you can change one thing in the world with a magic wand, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
This is going to sound so cheesy. For everybody just to be kind to each other.
The world would be such a better place if we could do that.
If everybody was just nice to each other, like if we didn't see color and we didn't see difference, and it's unfortunate, some people have that gift and some people don't, but if the people that didn't could, like, just see everybody equally, like, how beautiful.
Yeah.
Wars, disagreements, conversations.
Yeah, be a much better place. Thank you so much for joining me today. And listen, if you're a Latina with big dreams of building a multi-six-figure business and you're looking for a community to expand your reach, strategize, accountability, weekly live events, group coaching with me, inspiration, motivation, collaboration, and so much more, head over to janessaborges.com/Latinas to join the membership now. Until next time, amiguita.